Wow. I had no idea what was going on then. I feel all overwhelmed.
Well, I did offer a warning. I just had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, no, I like that. Is this us now? Are we on?
Yes, we are live on LinkedIn.
Okay, cool.
That was amazing.
Well, thank you for being our guinea pig, Rebecca, because I, for one, had no idea what was going on or how that was going to unwind. So, yeah. Anyway, hello, welcome to Jam in the Print Room. No idea what episode it is, but it's one that we're going to talk about the under 35s, the next generation into the print, packaging, signage industries. And who better to have with us? We're all veterans, we've been called several times, amongst other a lot worse names, but we've got Rebekah Hughes from Latcham with us. We've got Andy, Luke, and Jack. How are we all?
Very good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Yeah,
amazingly
good, thank
well.
you.
That was all very positive, so that's good. Rebecca, why don't you just give us a quick introduction, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I work for Latcham, which is an intelligent fulfillment and communications company based in Bristol and Crawley. I've been working there for about a year and a bit now, and yeah.
Nice. How's things with you, Jack? Thank you for that, Rebecca. Jack, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm back from a great week at FESPA, and then loads of processing of videos. Then I'm back to Spain next week for a week off to watch some football. So that'll be fun.
A week in Benidorm.
A week in Benidorm. Yes.
Those two are two things that I would never thought I would hear me say. Jack Gulcher in Benidorm.
Oh, this is my second home, Matt. I've been there since I was a wee nipper.
Love that. Wildy, what are we saying? Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Jack.
good.
You're hoping for no. Sorry, Jack was still talking. As usual, I overspoke. Jack, what you're hoping for?
I'm just hoping the Harley bar is still there, which is my favourite beachside bar on the Benidorm. Not the
Fantastic
strip, the local strip. Now I'm going to stop.
I wish I wouldn't have gone back to him. Wildy, how are you?
I'm really well, mate. Thank you very much. How rude.
Good. I've had a coffee.
Good.
I'm full of it.
Loads of bits and pieces after FESPA. Lots of looking forward as well. There's a couple of events coming up that the IPI are doing. We're in talks with BPIF about our agreement with them and how we're the preferred insurance supplier. So there's lots of backroom bits and pieces going on. And yeah, just the usual bits and pieces of writing insurance policies for printers. All very interesting and keeps the lights on.
Amazing. Right, that's everybody. Let's get into it. Not missed anybody ever? No?
No.
Andy? Hangover? Are you come down from your hangover of winning the Premier League?
Yeah, it still hasn't quite sunk in.
No.
The World Cup's kind of like come in now a bit and taken the shine of it. But yeah, went to the parade. That was good. Was there for about 6 hours and didn't see the parade bus once because it was too busy. 1.5 million people there as opposed to 6,000 Man City fans at your kind of tin pot showing.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to it.
I miss our little mandate that we had in Barcelona.
It was cute, wasn't it?
European city. It was cute. Yeah.
Well, depending on how Jack gets on in Benidorm, let's take Jam in the Printing to Benners.
That's it.
Jam in the Print Room on the road.
Mid-beer.
Yes. Let's do it. Anyway, enough of that. We're here to discuss like proper serious tackle. everybody knows that the industry needs to get the next generation in. It's an aging workforce and industry. So we wanted to get the thoughts, insights, and just Rebekah's view, really, as well as us as veterans adding our little take on it and stuff. So, but first and foremost, Rebekah, you obviously you work with family as well, and I think all of us at some point have done that within our businesses. So, just right off the cuff, putting you on the spot, like, is it coming into a business and working for your dad, let's say, is it harder to gain like respect and credibility from people if you're coming into a business where you're kind of already known, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think it is. There's obviously an added pressure to kind of earn your role or your spot as such, because yeah, I think we all know it can be a bit tricky. But I've loved it. I've loved coming in. It's obviously a company that I'm like really, really passionate about, and I truly believe in, which is kind of one of the main advantages of working for your family. But yeah, you do kind of feel like you need to earn your role. But I've come back from a communications background and marketing background, so I hope I've done the job.
I'm sure you have. And the only thing that I can liken it to is that I manage my son's football team, and I know from his perspective, or me managing him, he has to do double the amount to get any kind of public recognition or praise, rightly or wrongly, because I don't want anybody to have that bias that, oh, he's the manager's son, so he's always going to be captain, he's going to win manager of the year and manager's player of the year and all that type of tackle. Is there been any of that, do you think? Like Andy, you had to kind of surpass your dad in the business, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's hard. I think I said before on the pod that we had a few customers who were very much like, okay, you're my account manager, can I speak to Brian, please? And kept kind of trying to get back to him. And you have to be a little bit firmer to kind of go, no, it's me that deals with you. The business has grown. We both can't, well, one person can't support everyone. So we've divvied up the accounts, and after a few times, it does take a little while. But you do need to prove yourself, because it's always you're the son, he's your dad. So it can be a little bit tricky, but I think you just need to demonstrate that you are capable of looking after them, and just as well as Brian did.
What about internally? What about like your colleagues and your peers and stuff?
Internally, it's probably been harder, though we don't have much friction here at all, really. I think because Brian's been here and he's still around from time to time when he comes in, it's like stand by your bunks as he's doing an inspection. It can be a little bit tricky. I haven't had to. It's never really like, oh, I'm going to go to Brian to discuss something above me, but yeah, it's a little bit harder kind of to draw that line of, Brian's gone, I'm now it, and I've grown up with those people in the company. There's probably 4 or 5 people here that I've grown up with whilst Brian's been in the business. So, but yeah, it's a little bit harder to kind of be stern and strict on people, and it's not really my style anyway. But overall, yeah, it's not been too bad.
Yeah, nice. And what about you, Rebekah? In that respect, obviously Andy now owns his business, and you're not at that point yet. Have you found it difficult to? It's probably a difficult thing to answer, actually, but like to be welcomed as Rebekah rather than the owner's daughter.
Yeah, it's funny that I grew up with a lot of people in Latcham as well.
Okay.
I've known a lot of people since I was probably born, to be honest with you. So yeah, but in a way it's really lovely because I know those people and those people know me, and there's not that when I came into the company I already knew who I was working with. I knew and I respected all the people, so it is hard in some ways, but there's also like a lot of positives to it as well, kind of working with people that you've known forever.
Yeah, no, I get that, absolutely. Jack, Luke, have you got any insights on that?
Yeah. Well, I think from what I'm sorry, Luke, go on, you go first.
No, go on.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, because I know Andy, you went and did something else before going back and working, and I think it sounds like you did as well, Rebecca. And I've seen a lot of sign and print companies where the children have come in and taken the job, and actually the ones that have gone away and done something else, learned something in their own right, and then come back seems to give them a bit of an edge over maybe some people that just go straight in and have to go right from scratch.
Yeah, I think you think you lose that kind of nepotism type thing if you go out and earn your stripes elsewhere. My dad didn't want to take me on. I was a barrister's clerk initially, and then decided it really wasn't for me. And he was thinking about bringing me into the business at that point, but he said, "Go out, see how you get on." And I had a nice career at Prudential, but again, I was just missing something. And I think I wanted that kind of sales element. I wanted something that was mine, and then it kind of drifted in naturally. But yeah, those companies really helped me managing up important people. You had brokers, you had barristers, solicitors I was always talking to. So I gained from that kind of big company vibes. And I can use that when I'm talking to kind of your Xeroxes, your Canons, West Coast as my distributor, all those kind of things. So I learned a lot from those two jobs and brought into Cedo.
There's probably an element of just being a little bit more worldly as well, isn't there? Just go and experience life outside of your immediate family and hub, and then go and bring that experience in, rather than it just being given to you, like, and take that opportunity as for granted. What about you, Luke? What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think going out and doing something else. Obviously, Rebecca, you said you went on off and did some marketing communications. I know you went to uni as well. But do you feel that you appreciated that safety net a bit more of having that business available to you? Or do you feel like you went out and explored the world slightly differently? You got a qualification, you've got some experience, you've understood what you require to be the octopus of running a business. You got to have your tentacles on absolutely everything that's going through. I know that's a weird analogy, but do you think you appreciate it more coming into it from going elsewhere rather than just coming straight into the business and working your way through?
Well, I thought it was quite interesting what Andy said, which is that it kind of like naturally happened. I always say this, I kind of went away not thinking that I was going to work for the family business. I went into digital marketing, and I thought I was going to stay in digital marketing. That's what I know. That's what I was, qualified for. But naturally, I just kind of fell more and more into communications, and I saw kind of the importance of printed communications and how the print industry isn't just printing. It's so much more than that. It's digital led, it's data driven, it's all about design. There's so much more that goes into it, and I was like, this is actually what I find interesting, and this is actually what I'm passionate about. So I kind of naturally got into the family company. It wasn't that I finished school and I was like, that's where I'm going, that's what I'm doing. It was like a natural process, and I think that's really good to go through as well. It's kind of like this, I'm doing this because this is actually what I want to do, and I've gone away and I've tried to break away, but I haven't been able to, and now I'm back. So
But without that family influence, would you know that this was even an industry? Like, would it have been an industry of choice? But it's just that actually my passion combines with what my family business is.
well, I think that's quite interesting because communications has always been a passion of mine. I also have a really sad story that when I was 8 years old, I decided I wanted to go into marketing and communications. At that point, most people
At 8.
Most people want to be ballerinas at 8. I was like, I want to be a marketeer, and like it's very sad. I'm very aware.
I'm just picturing Andy in a little pirouette, doing a little pirouette now at 8 years old.
I
Did
had
my
it
mum
when
show
a
you those
teacher
pictures?
gave me like a car advertisement and told me to pull it apart, and I was like, this is the most interesting thing I've ever had to do, and I was like, that's me set. And I used to like do advertisements in my like textbooks and everything like that. So I kind of knew that's where I wanted to go. But would I go into like printed communications? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you
Yeah, no, I
find
agree.
when you see your dad outside of work and family events, do you find that you talk about work all the time?
Well, we've always kind of had that because it's my granddad worked in the print industry and the mail industry before, and then my dad and my uncle. So we've kind of always had conversations around what's happening, mail and print and everything. But we've tried to not talk about it, but it always naturally comes up. The minute you sit down, you see a menu in front of you, you're going to talk about
Start
what the
flicking
menu is.
Yeah.
We all do it.
We really do. And the reason why I asked that last question about would you have chosen to get into that world, because we all know that we need to get more people under 35, the next gen, into it. And that's all well and good. But I wanted to understand from you, Rebekah, as one of those people that have kind of come into it and within that kind of age profile, like how do we get to you? Everyone knows it's an issue, and there's lots of good work that's going on, and it's getting better getting the younger people into it. But how do we do it? And then also how do we attract? How do we onboard? And how do we retain and make sure that the business kind of transforms with the influx of new people and younger people rather than just institutionalizing you into the way that that business is? I think if you're going to bring new people on, you've got to change with it rather than change the people that are coming in. I realize that there's about 18 questions in one there. So whichever one you've actually listened to, fire away and answer that one.
No more
I
coffee
think
for Matt.
what you're saying is really, really important, though. And I think the problem is the lack of education around the print industry and the mail industry and packaging. I think there's just not enough information out there about what the industry actually is. I think people still see it for what it is 20 years ago, and actually it's, progressed so much since then. And there's so much, like I said before, like data involved and so much kind of skills that need to be had, but people just don't see that. And I think that's something that needs to be put in more. I have a lot of conversations with other marketeers, and there's so much digital marketing education constantly going on. And I don't see that as much for printed comms. And I think that is something that would be really beneficial for people just to gain a more understanding about what's actually happening. And then when we're in, I mean, it's that really hard thing that the younger generation kind of want more. I think before it was like you went to work and then you had, your life outside of work, but people actually want that more incorporated now. They want to feel part of a family within work, and they want more flexibility to kind of have their life and work in one. And it's just how we do that. But it's always quite hard when you have people who are on shift work and then you have people who are in the office, and it's kind of like, how do we actually make that work for everyone and not people feel like they're getting left out?
Interesting. Luke, I can hear you thinking.
Yeah, how do you do it, Matt? Because Nathan's a young lad. He fits into that bracket as well. He's under 35. He's a young person that's come in. He's heading up your signage division. How do you enable the flexibility for him? Because obviously you've got yourself, you've got Ella, you've got Nathan. And Nathan gets the flexibility, but he's also working very hard. We all see it from him.
Mm-hmm. Never believe everything that you see on the internet, first of all. No, he is. No, I meant working hard. Never judge the coffee. Yeah, man. I just think it's you just know from the people, don't you? I mean, as a recruiter, it's my job to have a very, very strong gut instinct of people and the ethos and the morals and the ethics that they have in them. I'm just very fortunate that with both Nathan and Ellie, that I trust them implicitly to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And even as young people, I just kind of got a feel for that. And for me, immediately straight off the bat, you hire on attitude, behavior, cultures, and then you can teach them everything else. And again, kind of trust is given. I don't think trust is earned. And in my respect, anyway, I give them the trust, I give them the autonomy, I give them the belief that they can go and do this job. I'm there to guide them and help them and give them any kind of reassurance that they might need. But I'm hiring you to do a job, and I don't care where you do that job, how you do that. Well, I do care how you do it. But I want I want you to believe in it. I want you to have that accountability. So by micromanaging and being restrictive in being unflexible, I believe that you don't get the best out of people. And Nathan's got a child, Ellie's got 2, I've got 3. So I just get that shit happens outside of work as well. And they're both grown up enough to know that if they need to leave at a certain time, then I know that they're going to put the hours into because they want to do it. Because I give them that flexibility and autonomy, I get it back in spades as well. So, but fundamentally, it's down to the people, down to them. If I didn't believe in them, then I would probably do it a slightly different way.
You mentioned earlier, Matt, about like you don't need to change the person. The company needs to change in order to accommodate the younger people, next generation. Have you done anything? You've changed the way that M2 work in order to accommodate next gen?
Because it was just me for such a long time before these 2 came in, then I've kind of just done it by the seat of my pants, if that makes sense. Just as and when I've seen an opportunity to change or a request from them, and it's just instinctively. It'll be totally different if I ran a 60-person business. You can't just change those things overnight. But I think, again, on attitude, behavior and cultures, I think the young people coming into it need to interview the company and just go, right, if I come in there, what are your attitudes and your behaviors and your cultures, and how can I influence that change, rather than coming in and going, oh, we've always done it this way. So then you just become institutionalized. You, as a young person coming in, you want to be with a progressive, ambitious, forward-thinking business that goes, right, this is the solid foundation that we have. You're going to come in, we're going to utilize your experience and your modernization, I guess, and implement that into what we've already done and be better. So I think for me, it's easy to change and adapt because we're a service-led business, and we just kind of can adapt pretty quickly. But I think people coming into it need to question and interview and interrogate their potential employers as well.
Rebekah, has Latcham seen an increased application, an increased number of applications coming in from younger people with your involvement, and how exposed you are, if you like, in your involvement with the business?
I don't know. We have young people who work for us, but I wouldn't say there's been an increase. But I think internally what we've done is we've put in place kind of more company initiatives all together. So we've got the FIFA stakes happening. We've got like sunflower competition that's going on, like little things that just bring the team together, because that's what people care about more now, is kind of the internal community. And we're trying to do more things like that just to, bring the team together more. Okay.
So it makes it more inclusive and makes it more attractive for those younger generations coming through, because that's what they're looking. That goes back to the family type aspect that you were saying about before.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a modern phenomenon. I mean, from older times, you'd get on with your work colleagues and you might go out occasionally, but you wouldn't feel ever necessarily part of a family. I think that's definitely something that appears to be happening now. I'm keen to know from getting young people into the industry. I mean, Rebekah, you just said that you wanted to be a marketeer from the age of 8, which is cool. You love marketeers, but also you kind of had a bit of, you like the industry as well because you kind of grew up in it. Not very many people will grow up thinking, I want to be in the print industry. That's the place for me. You know, they might want to be plumbers, architects, whatever, but printing specifically. So what is the industry doing and what are companies like yourselves and others doing to just make our industry more attractive at a young age, at an earlier stage for people?
Well, I think it comes back to that whole thing that I said before. It's just education, getting us out there, speaking to young people, showing them what the print industry can do, and how there's a lot more to the industry than people initially think. And actually, there's so much scope in, if you're into marketing, HR, engineering, anything like that, there is a role within the print industry, and it's an interesting role, and they need your skills.
Do you think it's down to the individual companies to market themselves and communicate that better rather than a big movement? Like I say, there's lots of different kind of spin-offs of people trying to do that. Vespa and Next Gen are one that are making absolute kind of mountains and masses of kind of encouragement on that. But do you think it's fundamentally down to the business that can communicate and market themselves better, and try and do that rather than as a industry as a whole? That was to everybody, by the way.
Oh, you guys go then.
No. You can. Please do answer.
I was just going to say that I think that's probably true. I think it comes down to all parts, doesn't it? And if we see an issue within the industry, then it's up to the companies and it's up to the industry as a whole to come together and try and drive it so the issue gets fixed. So it comes from everyone. We can't just expect, certain people to be the drivers, but other people stay behind. We all need to move forward if we want to go forward.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a vicious cycle here as well, because obviously, Rebekah, you come from a marketing background. You wanted to be a marketeer. There are marketeers who will always go digital first now, whereas previously they would go physical first. But what we know from data that's been released, tests and campaigns, and the IPIA in 2024 released a finding of the physical leads to the digital. And the more physical is put out there, the more the tactile print is used, the more tactile nature of print is used, as you mentioned when you sit down to a restaurant and you get a menu and you're immediately flicking the corners with your family. The more that's out there, the more people's eyes will open up to it, because there was a lot more print back in the day, 10 years ago, than there is now. The Argos catalogue, for example, that was such a key part of many of our childhoods, circling things before Christmas or birthdays and stuff like that. Whereas now it's get it up on the iPad, get it up on your phone, look at the catalogue on your phone. Littlewoods used to be a catalogue, or whatever it might have been. There was catalogues coming through the door with direct mail and bits and pieces landing on your door all the time. Now it's just bills. So immediately there's negative connotations to what a printed item or a direct mail piece might actually be. We've got Mark Stevenson and Paul Opie in the chat at the moment. And Mark has asked, how can we influence exposing younger people to the world of print? How can we influence it as business owners, operators, people within the industry? How can we influence the marketeers more to spend more on that print to expose people to it? I wonder.
Well, I love that question.
Go for it, Rebekah.
Sorry, I feel like I'm answering all the questions.
That's what you're here for.
Yep.
Especially when we don't know the answers. Please help us.
I think the problem sometimes is with marketing that we think digital or print, but print is a digital touch point. You can do it. It's about combining them and a way of finding it so that people see that and that it's easier access. It's not a silo touch point. It is within the digital touch points. And how can we make that easier and more accessible to marketeers? I think that's kind of how we introduce print to young people. It's not, this is the traditional touch point, this is the new digital touch point that's going to drive your customers to actually view what you're sending out. And I think it's also about now that print needs to be relevant and personalized and data driven, not just kind of a DoorDash without kind of that put in place as well.
There was a trend a little while ago, wasn't there, for little I won't say instant pictures. I know, talking about Mark, he was showing it at a print show a year or so ago. And you go around, you'd see quite a few of these out and about, but you don't. Was that just a trend? Is that something that was good for a while, but is not so popular now?
Well, the funny thing is all that kind of stuff is coming back. I think we've almost gone. I'm a big believer in the pendulum effect. So I think we were all print, and then we went all digital, and now somewhere we're going in the middle, and we need to find that kind of perfect way of combining everything together. And people want that tactile, and they want that kind of community that print can give you that digital sometimes doesn't quite have. But there's advantages and disadvantages to every touch point. It's just finding where in the journey are the touch points wanted by the people that you're trying to market to or the people that you're trying to communicate to. And instead of maybe just thinking of a singular touch point, what touch points do we need to put and where and why are we putting them?
Love that. You don't need to treat them as independent things. It's just all part of that marketing process. You want to communicate with your ideal kind of target proportion or ideal customers, then this is what we do, and this is part of it.
So you're saying actually timing is really important. If you get something digitally, usually 99% of the time you ignore it. Sometimes you'll pay attention to it, but it's simple and easy. But something printed that hits you, it's got to hit you at the right time, because otherwise it's a more expensive thing to miss. Do you think that's something that I guess that's something that you're helping with as a marketing organisation, helping to make sure that printed product arrives in front of somebody or in someone's hand at the appropriate time?
Yeah, and it's also to the right people and having the relevance to the people that are having it. So digital is really good because it can be sent out quickly. Obviously, you've got the clicks in digital. It can be like tracked down to I know print can be tracked, but it can be really tracked. And also you can do data capture very easily through digital. So that's why digital kind of comes into its own. But then print comes in because it's a lot more trusted. People want to keep it. People spend more time looking at print. People feel more of an emotional connection to a printed item than they do a digital item. They want items that are like important to them to be in printed form rather than digital. So that's kind of picking and choosing what you're using and why you're using it. But they're all digital. They're just kind of different.
It's interesting you said they can be tracked. Digital can be tracked, printing can be tracked, but it can be really tracked. How do you track a printed item? I've seen statistics for it working its way around a household, but how do they do that? Do you know?
Do you guys know? I know another way they can be tracked, but
you can
go for it.
A reason. Yeah.
Well, we did one internally. We did an example with X and Pi with one of our developers, Tony, who's incredible. And he did it so that there was a QR code, and then he had it so that if they scanned the QR code, a bit of code somewhere else was put in, and what they saw was a personalized landing page that said their name, like "Hi Rebecca" or whatever, and it looked lovely for them. But actually, what we're doing is getting the data back from that person, so we can see who scanned the QR code from the printed item. We're tracking it, and then that goes into our data. So that was one way that we were able to track from a printed item.
That was the example I was going to use. A QR code. There's a reason Tesco Club Cards still send out their coupons, and it's because it leads to gained footfall. It's more people ticking the ticker up as they go through the turnstiles to enter the shops. It's people redeeming those voucher codes and getting those, special offers. But it's getting them through the door, and it's measuring that investment as well, to see how successful that is and to be able to report on that down the line.
And it's interesting you said about discounts and offers, because from the research that Latcham did with the market research and company consumer intelligence, we found that under 35s, 43% of them want offers and discounts to be through print.
Wow.
Which is a high percentage.
Yeah, very high.
That's brilliant. I wish 43% of those people wanted to come and work in the industry.
Just a quick one. We've got a couple of questions in the chat, but the one that's standing out to me at the moment, Rebecca, you'd be best placed to answer this. Your friends that don't work in the industry, your friends that don't work in print, how do they view the print industry?
Exactly how you think they view the print industry. It takes a lot of explaining for me to describe that it's not just a piece of paper that we're giving out to them. I do the whole classic thing that I think we all do in the print industry, where it's like people go, I say, oh, I work in the print industry, and they're like, oh, do you? And I'm like, look around you. Okay, there is so much print here. And then by the end of it, they're like, oh. It's always that kind of explanation that it's not just a piece of paper. There's a lot more that goes into print.
Yeah.
Love that.
It comes to me as well. When people ask what I do, I always go, oh, that. You know, I sell printers that do that, but my mates call me David Brent because I sell paper.
Yeah, I
Do the
get done
dance.
all the time.
So we'll take that little
What?
snippet there later on, Matt.
Yeah, that's going to be an absolute clip, isn't it? Any other questions, Luke, before we move on?
Not really. I think we've covered absolutely everything. Mark Stevenson said they probably view us as dirty hands factory work rather than a tech business, when in actual fact, as we all know, print is pretty much a tech business now.
Mark had
Mark,
literally just put a post out on LinkedIn showing like a really old-fashioned person operating like a sticker machine. They was printing like stickers and they were taking it off. No health and safety. No, it just looked dodgy as anything. And he was like, "This is what people perceive the industry as." But it couldn't be further away from that, could it?
no,
When you're in it.
not at all. He has also said we need to influence the 8-year-olds out there. Waiting until school leaving age is too late because perceptions have already been fixed.
That's probably true.
So, yeah, quite possibly. But then
Big
in
up the
primary,
8-year-olds. Maybe we just need to start chucking print at them and seeing if that like inspires them.
Less so perceptions, I would argue, and more so let's just build awareness around it. Get it out there, drive it.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. If that's LinkedIn caught up, then Rebekah, you've just kind of following on from all the data tracking and all that type of stuff that you've kind of been just talking about. Talk us through this. And are we allowed to tell people about this white paper? If we can't, then we'll just pretend that I didn't. All right, okay, perfect. Tell us about this white paper.
This is something I'm very excited about. So this came because I think that there was a lot of talk about print only working for your older demographics. And I was like, this is not true. So I kind of went out. I know there's a lot of data out there already through like Chickmail, Market Reach and other places, but I kind of wanted to go out and collect my own and see it for myself. So Latcham collaborated with Consumer Intelligence, which is a market research company also based in Bristol. And they did a survey of 507 under 35s. And the data that came back was actually astonishing. It was really positive. So over 8 in 10 of the respondents received printed comms. And out of that, which I love, is 1/3 read all the communications that come through their door, which I just thought was amazing. And 29% read parts of it, which I just think is just huge. And 46% said that there were specific things they wanted in print, and there were specific things they wanted in digital comms as well, which I thought was quite interesting as well. So 46% want some of the communications to be in print and not digital, which I also thought was just a really good statistic.
Did it then drive down into what those things were?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Teed it up perfectly.
So the main thing, like I said, was offers and discounts, but also important information and information that they actually want to keep. And also they said that in order for them to interact with the mail, they want it to be relevant to their situation. They want clear design, and they want it to, like I said previously, have important information for them as well. So it's really interesting, actually, when you think of it like that. It kind of just changes your perspective of kind of what you can put in a printed item to engage with the under 35s.
So to answer the previous question of how do we influence the marketing teams and the brands and things like that, it's exactly this science and data that we've gone out and collected. And we've asked the people, this is what they want. There you go.
And
yeah, practice what you
well,
preach.
like unbiased, because this is through Consumer Intelligence, which is not obviously like a printed company or has anything through it. And I was kind of almost doing it as a way of just seeing where maybe the negatives were or something, how we can change and how we can maybe help, like, you know, develop on those. But actually what came back was so positive, and it just shows that there already is so much positive view on printed comms. And it's just how we deliver those communications and make it relevant to the people who are receiving it.
Amazing. How will people find this white paper? What's the how accessible is it? Where can we find
I
it?
have a link. If you guys would like it, I can put it in the chat.
Yeah,
That'd be
perfect.
amazing.
And then Jack the wizard will somehow get it onto the communications that we send out. See, he'll find a way. He always
I'll have a
does.
go. I'll have a go. We'll put it on our display as well. Actually, that sounds like an interesting report.
I guess a little bit of that comes down to marketing teams and budgets. So whilst digital is really easy, you could, it's just time you're already paying for, I guess. You've then got, I've just done it myself. I've just sent out, we've done a little bit of email campaigns for the new Epson S9100 available from Cedo. And we do a little bit on LinkedIn. We do a little bit on email marketing. We've actually just sent out sample packs to a targeted audience of about 250 that we're focusing on upgrades. Even just to print that costs money. So we've got A5s. So I think we've got about 4 or 5 A5s in there on different materials. But to actually send it's 91p. Okay, it's not a huge amount of money, but that has to be budgeted for. So someone sending, say the bank, they can log what you've clicked in their portal on your account, and you've gone and looked up mortgages, to then send you a letter to say, are you interested in a mortgage? That's second class stamp, 91p, or for whatever weight and size that is. I suppose that's a budget that you're using. If you take that over millions of customers, potentially millions of pounds, and maybe they just go, juice isn't worth the squeeze, and then going towards digital marketing. We've got their email address, let's just send them an email instead. I suppose
nice.
We probably need to look at budgets more in terms of print, rather than just a team of developers and designers, perhaps.
I've got a question. Do you sell paper with those printers?
I do, yeah. We do Metamark, which is also available from Cedo.
Nice.
Why
Good.
would you do that? I suppose it comes down to a point of consulting as well. So as a printer and for print businesses, it's all part of that adding value to your relationships with your clients who might be in those marketing teams who make those decisions or put those campaigns towards their clients in order to influence their decisions. It needs to be done on a more consultative approach and say, look, you can use this, and like going back to what I was saying earlier, create that impact in the tactile nature to click those counters on the turnstiles, to make the physical lead to the digital, and to increase footfall or digital traffic. It comes down to the printers as well to push that on the marketing teams that they're working with and not be scared to broach that subject.
And having data, present the data to them and say, this is what we found on this white paper, would be different to everyone else that's just, spamming email addresses. Do something different and targeted, and just increase your spend and see what happens.
Yeah, great work, Rebekah. I think it's absolutely incredible.
Well done, Rebekah. That's class. Right, we've got literally 2 minutes left. Us veterans, Rebekah is...
Oh.
Hello?
You've gone too early there, Jack.
I did.
Not for the first
Um,
time.
anyway, I feel like that was our 2 minute warning. Right, not long left. We spoke a lot about bringing new people in, but as veterans, we've all just been judging the Rising Star Awards as well via the printing charity. So I just want to do a massive shout out to everybody that has gone through that process successfully or unsuccessfully. Absolute kudos to you all. And there's a serious amount of talent in that demographic within the industry already, and we just need more of it. How did you guys find the judging process and being part of it?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I've really enjoyed seeing people posting that they've won. and they've got the award. But even those who didn't, you know, you've got all of the time. You can do it once, but you've got all the way up to your 35. So just make sure when you put those applications in, you've thought about all angles. You've approached your employers first. You've talked about how this is actually going to better you and better your career. How's it going to have a positive impact on your career?
Amazing. Absolutely. Andy, it was your first time doing it. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. It's a long day. There's lots of interviews to conduct. But yeah, it was great just seeing, you know, young people passionate about print. And yeah, hopefully those people remain in print. That's what we want to see, really. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great, and I'd love to be asked to do it next year as well.
Breaking news: Andy McGuinness is not invited back. Jack.
You're a particularly feisty mood today.
Wow.
It was. I thought it was also the first time for me. Fantastic. Do you know, some of these they were just so inspirational. Some of the things they've had to overcome in order to keep their career on track or to achieve what they need to achieve. Balancing education, life, and everything, because it's really tough. I personally think it's a lot harder than 20, 30, 40 years ago to navigate your way around a career. There's just so much else going on. So, you know, I was just absolutely inspired by these guys, and it was a fantastic experience. Well done to everybody.
Yeah, good. I felt the same, and I feel like it's a really good way to then get the industry as a whole out to that demographic as well, people that they know, or like-minded people, attitude, behavior, culturally wise. It's like Nathan has been awarded as well, and the amount of kind of traction and interaction that we've got through sharing that he's been an award winner, and then he's done it on his personal social media and things like that. It's just raising awareness. So there's an untapped pool of people that your young people in your businesses already will know, and it's just about connect into them, get them fully onboarded and kind of bred into the business, and then get them to do referrals, bring the mates in.
Yeah, awesome.
Good.
And
right.
I have just put the link to Rebecca's white paper in the chat. So if you are in the chat and viewing live on LinkedIn, you can view it. If you're not, it's latcham.co.uk/the-intelligent-touch-point. And we will push that out to all socials as well.
Nicely done. Okay, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that wisdom and insight as well. I really, really appreciated it. Loved it. You three, thanks so much, and see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Guys.
Hit it, Jack. Hit it, Jack.